You ever notice how some mixes make you feel like you can step right inside the song, and others just sound flat, like they're stuck on the speakers? The difference is depth and space, and it's not just reverb. Hey, Danny here. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about real-world production, mixing, and scoring techniques that actually translate into modern records. I haven't posted in a little while because I've been deep in scoring mode. Tight deadlines, a lot of cues, constantly delivering music for TV. But honestly, this is where that gets interesting because a lot of the techniques I use in scoring every day directly translate to pop production. So I wanted to start a series breaking down that overlap, that crossover. This first one is a very quick, focused walkthrough on how to create depth and space in your mix in a controlled and intentional way. We're going to start with a choir and a groove and build from there. Now here's one of the keys for me. Instead of using send effects, I'm doing everything right on the channel as insert effects. Because in TV work, I'm constantly delivering stems and multi-tracks, so I need to commit the sounds so everything is just baked right into the individual tracks for delivery. First in the chain is Recirculate from Newfangled Audio. This is definitely my new favorite delay plugin, especially because it has so many parameters in it, so you don't need a ton of plugins to accomplish the goal. I'm starting with an 1/8 note delay using my own preset called Danny True Crime. On its own, this is going to sound pretty obvious. Check it out. Almost too obvious. A few things I'm focusing on here in the parameters. A slight offset between the left and right side of the delay. You'll see I'll take this one and I'll push it back a little bit. Oops, a little bit there. Yeah. I always add an offset to my delays that creates space. Filtering here so it stays out of the way. Dynamics to control how it reacts. I'm adding some compression. Character for drive and grit. And the soundstage for width and placement. And most importantly, the wet-dry relationship, which is really important since I'm putting this right on the insert. So right now you can really hear the delay, but watch what happens when we add the next piece. Next in the chain, 7th Heaven Professional from LiquidSonics. I'm using my preset Danny's TC Chamber, which is based on the famous Sunset Chamber. And again, you can use any reverb plugin, but 7th Heaven has some amazing parameters that get rid of the need for a whole bunch of other plugins. One of these is an internal ducker, which is incredible. It's a great tool, especially on vocals, but that's for another video. So here I'm shaping the decay time, adding a pre-delay and a little bit of internal delay. I'm keeping the early reflections light and I'm pushing the late reflections a bit. I'm going to use the EQ to get rid of some muddiness. And again, very careful with the mix. And we're just over 50%. Check it out. So the delay gives you movement, the reverb gives you space, and together you start to hear a haunting, ethereal world that makes you forget you're even listening to anything and just takes you away, which is the point. Let's A/B this. Here is the dry signal. Now with the chain. Now let's listen to everything in context. Notice how the choir doesn't sit on top of the mix anymore. It sits right next to everything else or even a little behind it. It's also possible to use evolving space and depth. For example, check out this bass pulse where I've automated the parameters. I'll discuss what I'm doing in a minute. So as you can see, I've automated the wet signal And I've got a quarter note on one side and a dotted eighth on the other. I'll play it again for you. Let's hear it in context. So depth isn't necessarily about adding more effects. It's about movement, balance, and how each stage supports the next. I like to think of it as changing the scenery, which is very helpful when you're composing for TV. As you can hear in this piece, it's all leading towards a conclusion, a changing or a scene change and a reveal. When you get this right, you're not just mixing sounds anymore, you're creating a space that people can step into. Depth, space, height, and width. These are the elements that make the listener have an emotional reaction to the music, and when that's missing, everything just sounds flat, feels two-dimensional, and honestly soulless. So if you're into this kind of crossover between scoring, production, and mixing, stay tuned because I've got a lot more coming. See you on the next one.